Hello everyone. This is Ashish Kumar, Assistant Professor at Muzaffarpur Institute of Technology, Muzaffarpur, Bihar, India. We have a course on estimation of civil engineering project, and in today's lecture, I am going to give you the basics of estimation of civil engineering projects. Truly speaking, as a field engineers, when you are gonna to pursue your profession, either you are working in government side, that is called client side, or consultant side, or contractor side. Everywhere you need to estimate and measure the quantities of civil engineering components, and then analysis of rates for different components, and thereafter we are able to arrive at the cost of projects. Based upon these cost of project, either tender or contract or works is being done. So it is one of the important course what we have in our civil engineering discipline. So without further delay, we can move to the next. So, what are the learning outcomes after this series on estimation? After this series on estimation, you will be able to understand the concept of estimation, then evaluate the quantities of various components, items of civil engineering works. Meaning thereby, you will be able to evaluate the quantities of various components, let's say earthwork, then quantity of concrete, quantity of DPC work, quantity of painting required, and such thing based upon their units. Then evaluation of rates for different components. Accordingly, we will evaluate the rates, and we will see how we will evaluate the rates. Then the target audience for this course is undergraduate civil engineering students pursuing their third year or final year of the courses, having a model curriculum of engineering, economics, estimation, and costing, and another course on contract specification and estimations. So, one is undergraduate civil engineering students, another is newly joined field engineers, those who are newly joined and they are not able to evaluate the different costs, and they are feeling deterioration in their pursuance of their profession. So they can also see this course. And then students preparing for various interviews of different services. So in interview, it is expected that mostly field engineers, those chief engineer or superintendent engineers level person is being there in the interview panels. They are expecting that you should know that some of the things you should know which is going to perform in your profession. Based upon that, those who are pursuing the student pursuing for various interview, they can also see this. So for this 10 roads, then for this 10 roads, you have 10 different costs and 10 different traffic. So you have a very limited resources of 50 crores, and based upon these 50 crores only, you have to prioritize these 10 roads. So priority is based upon your you need to have the traffic in your mind, and the cost is also very important. Cost is one of the main criteria for your setting out of the priorities. So accordingly, based upon these, we will have the priorities of which road will be improved first, and which roads will be improved later. So the financial and material resources are very limited. Based upon it, you need to have the estimation and cost of the projects. For reaching of cost, we need to have estimates for various items as we yeah, dealt in previous slide. Then a specific requirement for different site conditions. You have different site condition, and for different site conditions, you have a different site condition. You have different components, and these components vary based upon different sites. Let's say you want to build something in Jammu and Kashmir, and if you want to build something in Bihar, both are different. The same three-story building will have the different component, and rather we can say the availability of material is different for different places, and the transportation difficulties are very different for different places. So the site requirement is very specific, and based upon these specificity, you need to have the cost for different. Then different client have different requirement. Normally people they want a best facility, but they don't want to have a best price to it. Meaning thereby they are expecting so much thing to be done, but they have the limited finances also. So for different client requirement, we need to have the different components, and different component, and maybe different rates also. Then you have the variability in design. For variability in design also, you need to have the estimate. Constant in financial ability, as we dealt here with, we have limited financial resources, so we have to optimize. Objective is to optimize the cost for a given scenario. So for all these specific purposes, you need to have the estimate for a project to a decisions. Then requirement for preparing estimates. So first requirement, you need to have your plan for your building, and then you need to have this section for your building, because in plan you will get the area, and with the sections you will get the heights and all, and based upon this you will be able to calculate the your quantities for material. So you need to have plan, elevation, and section of different important different points. Then you need detailed specification about workmanship and properties of the material, meaning thereby uh, you have different classes of brick, and their rates are different. For different purposes, you need different classes of brick. So meaning thereby, based upon your requirement, your specification are varying specification varies. So for different specification, what kind of a specification you want. So you have 10 times of pens, which paints you want. Based upon your thing, the rate will vary. So you need to have the specification with you. Then detail standard schedule of rates for the current year. So what is schedule of rates? Schedule of rates, that is called SOR. Mostly public works department of different states, they publish SOR every year, or maybe with some time interval. What this SOR is, SOR basically it gives you the basic uh, rates of different kind of material based upon a specific a specification. You have different rates of different items. Let's say if you want to evaluate the concrete rate of concrete, M20 concrete, you have a different for M20 concrete, you need to have aggregates, then cement, and then you have water. Maybe you need admixtures, maybe you need aggregates in fine aggregate and coarse aggregates. So for these different materials, you have different rates. So for calculation of rates for a particular component such as M20 concrete, you have different kind of material. For these, for arriving the rates of M20 concrete, you need to have the different material rates, and this material rate you will find in schedule. So, procedure for estimating. So, basically, estimate involving the following process: preparing a detailed estimate. Detailed estimate means detailed estimates meaning by you have serial numbers, then you have different items. Let's say items like earthwork, then PCC, maybe you have brickwork. So you have different items, and then you have the quantities of these items. These are the quantities. Then you have the rates of these items. So this is called a detailed estimate, but meaning thereby item wise estimates you are preparing. Based upon calculating the rate of each unit of work, based upon that you have a different component and you are trying to put a particular abstract of estimate. Basically, we have two types of estimates we are generally doing in the normal circumstances. So what is this two type of estimate is: first is detailed estimate. Detailed estimate, what I have shown is the detailed estimate. The other one is you have other one is called uh, rough estimate, rough estimate or approximate estimates. So what is this estimate? This estimate, basically we are doing approximately. So this is being done by either plinth area measure, plinth areas. Based upon your plinth area, what is the will be the unit rate, or per square feet rate of a particular building type. So based upon that you are calculating. Based upon that you are able to get a rough estimate what is the area of the plinth you want to build up, and based upon that you per square foot or per square meter what is the rate. In some cases we are taking the rough estimate in running meter. Let's say you want to build a 40-meter span of a bridge. So for 40 meter, this 40-meter span of a bridge is basically you will pay, calculate, evaluate a rough estimate based upon your running meter. What is the running meter cost of a per lane bridge? So so the type of estimate we did, and now as we know that you need to measure the quantities, and then you need to measure the costs. So quantity, how you will evaluate the quantity? So there is different specification for Indian standard IS specification, what we call different specification is there for the measurement of different components of civil engineering works. For this particular course we are not going in the detail of these specification, but we have different sets of specification starting from this IS 1200 part 1, 1982. For detail you can visit, you go through these links, and you will be able to know how to measure these quantity of these components. So for earthwork, we have IS 1200 part 1 1982. Then concrete works you have different codes. Then brickwork, stone masonry, formwork, refractory work, hard work, and everything is there. So based upon your specific requirement you can visit these codes, and you will be learning. And I have listed only 12 parts, but you have more than 20